How is Marvel's Daredevil character steeped in American Catholicism? And why is the Disney Plus series recently concluded a departure from that tension? As a scholar who frequently teaches courses on American religion, I love to get my students to realize how religion infuses modern day pop culture using a variety of different examples. And there are few subjects more fruitful for such an investigation than Daredevil. Both the comic books, but even the Netflix series on Daredevil was, I argue, one of the most substantial and serious engagements with religion in modern American television. Unfortunately, it appears the Disney Plus series does not seem as interested in those key tensions. But in this video, I'd like to highlight how Daredevil has long been one of the most poignant examples of America's pop culture fascination with religion, including key tensions within those religions. And don't worry, there aren't any spoilers in this video about the new Daredevil Born Again series. Let's dig in. Though it often varied by comic and author, the Daredevil character has always been shown as deeply Catholic, not just in the sense of his beliefs and actions, but the Daredevil story often uses Catholicism as a driving, impulsive force within the narratives. Daredevil is often driven by guilt. He is obsessed with the sanctity of life, which is one of the reasons why he does not kill people, he just punishes them. He believes in communal social justice. All of those are key tenets of modern American Catholicism that often drive. And further, his very activities as a vigilante justice is often framed in the comic books and at least in the Netflix series as a solution to what theologians call theodicy, or the problem of evil. How do we account for, respond to, and solve the problem of evil and bad things happening to good people? Well, one solution is putting on a mask and taking that justice in your own hands. And that is often how Daredevil explains the rationale for his actions, including in confession to Catholic priests. You can also find in the comic book storylines how Daredevil's Catholicism can be juxtaposed to, say, Batman and his traditionally, although it's not always canonically consistent, his Episcopalian ideas. And so you can see how the different religions play out. For Bruce Wayne, Episcopalianism is very high church. It's the elite members of society. It's based around philanthropic charitable organizations. There's often boy choirs involved. I mean, think about all the recent Batman movies. There's always those boy choirs. Whereas Daredevil's, Matt Murdock's Catholicism is always much more gritty. It's lower class. It's oriented around social justice. It's in the streets. It's not rich people trying to help the poor. It's poor people helping themselves, as Catholicism has largely become a poor person's religion over the last century in America, trying to solve issues of immigration, social justice, poverty. Those are the key tensions of Catholicism, and that's why they are often the key tensions within Daredevil's Hell's Kitchen. And by the way, just as a quick plug, if you like this type of analysis of religion, culture, politics, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and like and share the video so that more people can engage these fun conversations of where religion and culture intersect. And then there is the Netflix 3-season storyline of Daredevil that was part of the Marvel Universe that has now been incorporated into the broader Disney world. That Netflix series, as I mentioned before, was one of the most serious and substantive interrogations and engagements with religion in modern American television. You think about how crucial religiosity was to Matt Murdock / Daredevil. He was frequently in confessions, and that's where he was able to regain his sense of self and his purpose. The parish was his home. It frequently became the crux of where stories jumped from and climaxed to. The priest served as a surrogate father, both being a moral compass, and then later on we see much more of a father type of figure role that he plays. And then finally we got the canonical story of a nun being Matt Murdock's actual mother, which shows that that religion was steeped into his very bloodline. He even lives in a monastery at one point. And further, when he has his own apartment, he lives a very monastic life, very simple. Those are the types of principles that you might find within a Jesuit tradition that shows how Catholic Matt Murdock's entire world was. And if that wasn't enough, there is a cast of rotating key characters in the Netflix Daredevil series that serve as contrast to Matt Murdock slash Daredevil's Catholicism. You get Elektra, who and her uncontrolled lust, and that Matt Murdock's attempt to try to save her, to catch a higher purpose rather than herself, and eventually fails. But that was a key part of Matt Murdock's own sense of the world. We get Frank Castle, who is the contrast to Matt Murdock's controlled sanctity of life approach and reserved justice. And Frank Castle, the Punisher, instead is unmitigated vengeance. Think about in season 2, episode 3 of the Netflix Daredevil series, where Frank Castle and Matt Murdock have a deep discussion about mercy and justice, and that gives us the key core in how religion is framing the entire way that Matt Murdock slash Daredevil approaches his vigilante justice. But then, of course, the big contrast is with Wilson Fisk and Kingpin. What makes Fisk such a dire enemy to Daredevil is because he reflects a opposite world of unreserved bullying. Think back to the season 1 finale of the Netflix season when Wilson Fisk is being taken away off to jail before he's rescued. And he gives a perverted subversion of the Good Samaritan story, saying that it's not trying to be kind and beneficial and charitable to the poor and the weak and being meek, a core tenet of Matt Murdock's Catholicism. You have to go out and be strong and not be being taken advantage of. This is why Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk are opposites, because they're opposing religious visions of humanity. And just a quick side note about the Disney Plus Born Again series before I get into the analysis of religion. I love that in the first episode, and this isn't very spoilery because all this information was given out before the season, but that Wilson Fisk in one episode is able to go from a bad guy who is hated and reviled in the city as a criminal to eventually becoming the mayor, running a successful campaign on the slogan of law and order and justice. If this was a decade ago, that would have had to be several episodes long of justifying how that can be the case. But thanks to modern America, the writers are like, yeah, we can fit that into the first episode. Americans get it. We've seen that tale before. So thank you, America, for making those types of storylines much easier to digest. But let's dig into religion in the new Disney Plus Born Again series. And again, I'm not giving out spoilers, but it's enough to say that Daredevil throughout this season is not just a bad lawyer, which many critics have been pointing out his where he's coming short, but he's also become a bad Catholic. He's physically removed from his parish, his community, and his faith. He's not just living with his girlfriend, but his girlfriend is surprised when he's praying and reading the Bible, showing that this is not a common day thing for him anymore. He's no longer going to confession. This all leaves him unmoored. The Matt Murdock of the Disney Plus series is a Matt Murdock removed from his core principles. And part of that is because he's no longer as committed to his Catholic vision anymore. This is why, by the way, in episode 7, where a climactic episode in the new season, it both opens and closes with Matt Murdock reciting a biblical prayer. However, while that biblical prayer means to signify him returning to his values, it feels so forced due to the paucity of religion and his ethical compass throughout the rest of the season. One more example, again without particulars, compare Matt Murdock's discussion with Karen in season 2, episode 7 of the Netflix series, where he talks about theodicy and the problem of evil and how we can find justice in the world, to his discussion with Karen in the season finale of the Disney Plus Born Again, which is lacking all sense of religious ethics, is just based in trying to find your own personal truth and going toward the light. There is one notable exception of the lack of religion, which is Matt Murdock's Christ-like sacrifice at one point at the end of the penultimate episode in this season. But again, I won't give too many spoilers. But in general, the Matt Murdock and Daredevil of the Disney Plus Born Again is a much more secular narrative. Violence in itself is no longer seen as a redemptive human experience, but rather an inhuman CGI engagement. So it takes out the grittiness that made the Daredevil violence in the Netflix series so palpable. And in the end, it's not religion that saves Matt Murdock, but rather belief in himself. He's not finding redemption, he's finding self-fulfillment. It's very clear that they're setting up a storyline for the next season of the Disney Plus Daredevil Born Again series that is going to be based around resistance and the heroes working outside the institutions, working against the corrupt institution of course, Kingpin. That story is now stripped of the religiosity that is so prevalent in much of the comics and the entirety of the Netflix series that is almost unrecognizable. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this analysis. Please let me know what I missed. Also, please let me know if there are any scenes or comics that you really like that capture Matt Murdock's Catholicism. I always love to bring these up in my classes. Make sure to check out my previous videos on religion and modern television. I did one on White Lotus in the most recent season as capturing the varieties of religious expressions. And I've also done one on the Ruby Frankie series on Hulu, Devil in the Home. Anyways, please subscribe if you haven't yet, like and share the video. Religion is such a fascinating and inexhaustible sense of fascination for me, and I'm sure many of you as well.